Hey guys, what's up? Tori here. So I'm here today to do my 30-week pregnancy update video. I am 30 weeks and 3 days today. Today would be Tuesday, October 6th of 2020. And 30 weeks, like hitting that milestone really makes me feel even more like I am in the home stretch. And I think that's just because in my mind, I know I'm going to be getting induced a week early, if not sooner. And so, like, to me, in my mind, it's like that just means like 9 weeks ago, like, we got this, like, in the home stretch. Baby girl will be here before we know it. And yeah, so I am very excited to finally kind of be in that home stretch. So without further ado, now I'm just going to get into all the updates that I have for you guys for week 30. First, we'll just do in general updates on baby. So week 30, baby is now getting close to 17 inches in length, or about the size of a cantaloupe, which is a pretty good size piece of fruit if you've seen a cantaloupe, like, good size. And also probably approximately close to 3.5 pounds now, again, because my baby is potentially running on the small side. She could potentially be a little lighter than that, but that's kind of in general where most babies are at this stage. And at 30 weeks, her lanugo hairs, or the little hairs that like cover her whole body to keep her warm early on, they are beginning to fall off this week as she's now putting on enough baby fat to keep herself warm, and she's starting to be able to regulate her own body temperature, where she doesn't need those hairs anymore. And at this stage too, she's going to begin putting on about 1/2 pound each week. Which will probably mean my weight will start going up more, which, you know, does make me cringe a little, but it's part of it. We'll lose the baby weight afterwards. It's okay. It is okay. And then her eyes are all in place, but they are still developing, and she can open them up. And so, like, she might be able to react to things like bright lights, if like a bright light gets shined on my stomach and things like that. But her vision is still quite poor at this stage. Her vision still has a lot more developing to do. Before she can see more clearly. So yeah, that is everything that is for baby this week. And then now updates for me. And you can probably hear it in my voice, but this last week I was battling a cold, and fighting a cold while pregnant is not fun. And don't worry, it is just a cold, not COVID. All I've had is sinus congestion. I mean, really nasty sinus congestion, but that's really all I've had. I've not had anything else. No fever, no cough, other than, like, you know, the typical kind of like drainage cough, and then you kind of like hack a little to hack up like nasty drainage crap. Like, otherwise no cough, nothing else, just major sinus congestion. And it definitely was really bad there for a bit. And battling a cold while pregnant sucks because you are very limited on the things that you can take. I was recommended either Sudafed or Robitussin, and I know, like, for me personally, Sudafed doesn't always really tend to do a whole lot for me. So I was like, well, I'll give Robitussin a shot. The daytime stuff did absolutely nothing for me. But the nighttime stuff at least helped me be able to get a decent night's sleep. Because that was also a hard thing. I already have a hard time with getting a decent night's sleep as it is sometimes. So, getting that good night sleep was even harder. So being able to take at least something that kind of helped a little bit from that standpoint. But otherwise, like, you can't really take hardly anything, so you just kind of gotta push through it until it clears your body. I am doing much better now. I'm still just like a tiny bit congested. There's still like a little bit of like that drippy nose yet and stuff, but like I can smell things a little bit again. I can taste things again, because you know how like when you get super, super congested and like nothing tastes right and you can't smell nothing, like it was like all of that going on, and I just was very miserable for a couple of days there, but definitely has been improving, so that's a good thing. I definitely think that probably within the next few days it should be pretty much clear and not really too much of a problem anymore, at least I hope. So, and it's just that time of year where those kinds of things go around, so it just kind of is what it is, but luckily we're kicking it right out the door. But I will say it has made me more tired having to battle this, probably because my body not only is working overtime to grow a human being, but then now it's also trying to work to fight off a cold too. So it has definitely made me more tired, but I definitely even noticed my energy levels starting to kind of go back to what they were before I had my cold, so that is also a good thing. And now some other random things that I've noticed this week, I definitely noticed I'm beginning to do the pregnancy walk a little bit more. In other words, I'm beginning to waddle a little bit more. Like, I don't even always catch myself doing it. And sometimes if I catch myself doing it, I can kind of correct myself and walk a little better, but a lot of the times it's just based on how she's positioned, especially if I can feel that she's sitting much lower for whatever reason, like, then it's definitely way worse. So yeah, sometimes I definitely have the waddle going on, sometimes I don't, but I definitely have been noticing it a lot more, and other people have been starting to notice it a little bit too. So then the other thing I want to talk about is I definitely have noticed more indigestion, especially like while I had my cold too. Like, I had, like, the day that it was the worst was last Friday evening, and like I was having it where like everything I ate would like go down, and it would feel like it would like kind of get stuck and try to work its way back up and then just be stuck in my chest, and it just was awful. Like, everything I ate, everything I drank, it was horrendous. I could not hardly stand it, and I mean, I kind of had indigestion a bit kind of on and off throughout my pregnancy, but that definitely was one that was really bad in this last week for whatever reason. Probably part of it is the cold and just all the drainage and crap and stuff too. Probably just kind of exasperated it a little more. But yeah, so that was kind of tough, and definitely like, and it would make me very burpy too and all that. So yeah, but those are kind of, oh, and then also I had one night, that was Tuesday night into Wednesday, I was having horrendous back pain all night long. Like, no matter what position I got in, I could not get comfortable, and I definitely noticed back pain a little bit more. Definitely, especially depending on the position I'm sitting in and for how long I sit in certain positions. Like, I definitely find myself having to readjust and get more comfortable, and things like that as well. And just kind of in general, I'll get other random pains. Like, I'll have it every once in a while where all of a sudden one of my hips will hurt a little bit. I think that might be like a sciatica thing. Like, I kind of think she might hit my sciatic nerve once in a while. Because like, it'll be just kind of like this like sudden real quick like shooting like, and like it'll make me limp for like one step and then it'll be fine again. But yeah, I definitely notice other aches and pains. I notice my joints will crack more and stuff, like things like that. So definitely in that like third trimester thing, and like even in general with my stomach, like I've noticed my stomach definitely feels much hard, like more firm and hard lately. Like, she's definitely taking up more room in there, and like I can feel her taking up the more room. Like, I can kind of start feeling like if I press on my stomach, like I can feel like approximately where she kind of is at, because like the areas where she's like actually more laying like are harder than the other areas. So it's definitely becoming more of a thing. So that's definitely a thing. And I definitely prefer positions now where like I can lay myself back like this more, because that is way more comfortable than sitting forward is, for sure. Like, that's definitely become a thing more. But yeah, so that's kind of like all like symptoms wise and things like that going on with me. I do want to bring up someone asked me a very good question and asked if I could answer in a video, and they asked like if I have experienced any like TMI / embarrassing type pregnancy symptoms. And of course I have. Excuse me. And of course I have. I think every pregnant woman does at some point in time. And she kind of pointed out specifically like asking like with farting and gas. And farting and gas has definitely been probably my biggest like kind of TMI embarrassing type pregnancy symptom. Gassiness is a major thing when you're pregnant. And the thing is, like, when you're pregnant too, like, you'll suddenly just pass gas without even like meaning to, or even like feeling it coming or noticing it coming, and all of a sudden it'll just be like, it'll hit and it flies, and it's like, whoops, sorry, excuse me, like, it happens. And it definitely gets really bad if I notice that I have to go have a bowel movement again. Like, this is with answering the question. So yeah, gas is a thing, and it's definitely been a major thing throughout my whole pregnancy. I definitely have had an issue with gas and farting, and like I always feel so bad when it happens, and like I apologize profusely, and people just always like, oh, don't worry about it, like it's not that big a deal. Um, but yeah, so um, definitely have had that kind of a symptom. I wouldn't say I can't really think of anything else. I mean, I guess other than like I am starting to hit that phase now where like if I have to go to the bathroom bad enough, and if I like cough or sneeze or laugh a little too much, like I will pee myself a little, like just hitting that phase in pregnancy too. And that's kind of an embarrassing thing when all of a sudden you notice like, oh no, I'm like peeing myself a little, like, and so then it's like you book it to the bathroom to try to go to the bathroom and stuff. But yeah, so definitely have had experience with those symptoms, and that's just kind of some of the things that I have experienced. So I hope that answers your question. If you have anything further, feel free to ask. And then the next thing I want to talk about is that I had an appointment last week Wednesday with my regular OB. And everything really went quite well. There are no major issues, and I did talk to him about doing the 3-hour glucose test because I failed my 1-hour glucose test. Only like the cutoff is 140 and mine was 145, so it wasn't like crazy high or anything. And so he's really not too concerned that he doesn't really think I probably do actually have gestational diabetes, because he says he has it quite often where women will fail it by a couple of points and then do the 3-hour and pass just fine. And I talked to him about doing the 3-hour test, and he told me I could actually go ahead and do the test without having to do the carb loading portion of it, and that's the part that I was concerned about. He told me instead, like, just keep eating as you normally do, like, just do your thing, and then just make sure you fast for a few hours before you go in to do the test, so that way they can get a fasting blood sugar on you before they give you the glucose drink, and then they'll give you the glucose drink again, and then just check your blood sugars for a couple hours, every couple hours, for 3 hours, every hour for 3 hours after that. And so he said I could go about doing it that way. He did recommend that I probably not do like a super long fasting, but just based on my timing of when I'm able to go do it and work it around work and stuff, I'm probably going to have to do somewhat of a longer fast, which I think I'll be okay. I'm not too worried about it. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and do it that way, and hopefully it goes fine. And he said that like if after that it doesn't go good, or maybe your numbers are a little off, then maybe we'll just do some finger pricking for a little while just to check your sugars that way. But he's really not too concerned that I have it, but he does want to make sure, given like everything else going on in my pregnancy. So we did discuss that thoroughly. And then the other thing we ended up doing that took a little while is we ended up scheduling all of the non-stress tests that I am going to have, or NSTs. And if you don't know what that is, a non-stress test basically is just a test you go in and they put monitors, they attach monitors to your stomach to just monitor the baby's heartbeat for half hour or so, and just kind of see what the baby's heartbeat does within, a length of time. And they just want to do that because of the fact that they have the concerns over her growth and all of that. They want to just make sure that like she's still doing really well in there. So I'm going to start having non-stress tests beginning when I'm 32 weeks. So actually October 19th is when I have my first NST scheduled. So not next week, but the following week is when I have the first one scheduled, and I will be going in twice a week, every week up until she is born. Just to continue doing those to make sure she continues doing well. And then if at any stage at any point in time it shows that her heart rate is not good, then they can be like, okay, we need to look into getting you, inducing or C-section or whatever it may be. But I mean, she's at this point, other than running small, has been very healthy and been doing really well. So I'm not too overly concerned about it. But, I am, even though like the added amount of appointments, like I'm pretty much going to be living at the doctor's office starting that week, like between going in for my NSTs and then my maternal fetal medicine appointments and regular OB appointments. Like I'm pretty much going to be living at the doctor for this last little stretch of my pregnancy, which will be frustrating, but it's one of those, just do what I gotta do for the health of my baby and to make sure that she is doing good and that, we get her into this world safe and sound. So it just kind of is what it is, and, we'll do what we gotta do. So I did just want to mention that. And then the other thing I'll bring up is my next growth ultrasound to check on her growth is actually this coming Thursday. So this Thursday is the next time I go over to maternal fetal medicine for another ultrasound to see what her growth is like. So I'll be able to update you guys next week on where her growth is at. Crossing fingers that she is still trending upward nicely, and that hopefully, maybe she's even more on track, or she's maybe just running like a hair bit small and not like anything concerning. So, but so far they haven't been too overly concerned. So I'm feeling pretty confident that it'll continue to be that way. So yes, and then the last thing I'm going to bring up is, as you can tell, I'm kind of sitting in a different position in the nursery. And that is because my sister came over this past weekend and helped me out in the nursery because, like I said, I have my changing table now, and my husband Matt actually put together the changing table all nicely for us. So then my sister came over and helped me organize a whole lot. She honestly did a vast majority of it, and I just kind of like almost was her assistant in a way. Like I just kind of assisted her and like kind of told her like how I would kind of like things, and then helped her out with like going through it all and putting it in places, and she did phenomenal with it, and I thanked her over and over and over again, and she loves doing that kind of thing, so she was glad to do it. But yeah, things are now definitely much more organized in here, looking much better, a little bit more ready for her, so to speak. There are still a lot of things that I need to get, but I will be having one baby shower for sure, thrown by my mom's side of the family, and that's coming up by November 1st. So I will for sure have at least one baby shower, and I have been letting other people know that like, if you do want to get us something, like please feel free. And I've been telling them like where we're registered at, and like you are more than welcome to get us something off of the registries, and you have the option to just send it straight to us if you do not want to come drop it off to us or have a party for us or anything. So I have told people that. So, and I am registered at Target and Amazon, so both places you can get stuff. Even you don't even necessarily like, even with Target, you don't necessarily have to go right into the store. You can order it offline and have it shipped directly to me or whatever. So yeah, but things are looking so nice in here. I'm so happy. There's just like, honestly, like as I get more things, it'll just kind of be gradually organizing more and things like that, and getting things more ready for her to be here. So yeah, that is pretty much all of the updates I have for this week. So now I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys my 30-week baby bump. So here we go. I'll just go ahead and back you guys up so you can see a little more. But here is with the shirt down, facing forward, facing to this side. I feel like I am way bigger this week than I was last week when I showed you guys. But yeah, to the side, and then to this side. So then we'll go ahead and put the shirt up. Show you guys facing this way. Can maybe lower my pants just a hair. So facing forward, definitely my belly button just kind of continues to stretch. I don't know, I don't think it'll ever actually pop. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I can always like feel the stretching, for sure. But then there's to this side. I definitely feel like I grew a heck of a lot more from last week to this week. I don't know, you guys can be the judge of that. I don't own a tape measure at all, so if I did, I would totally do like weekly like measurements of my belly too, but I don't own a tape measure, so I can't do that. But so yeah, there's this side showing you. But yeah, so we're growing, and definitely it's always much harder like right through here than it ever is up here. So she definitely tends to sit either real low, or she'll sit more kind of in the middle, because it's definitely always way harder there, and that's definitely where I tend to feel her the most. I tend to feel her the most like centered or way low. Every once in a while I'll feel her a little up higher, but most definitely tends to be mostly in this area that I feel her. So, but yeah, here we are at 30 weeks, my 30-week baby bump. So thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.